you wish to learn Dockers with a virtual machine, it's much more easier, because with virtual machine you can create, drop. If there are any issues, you don't need to worry, because it's not going to impact your machine. Because as I said, you can drop it, make errors, you learn more by making errors also. So if you are interested in learning about Dockers, you could do that with the cloud virtual machine. So just a kind of a reference I'm providing, like get into the Docker website and you can search for Ubuntu. There are a series of steps over here how to set that. You just need to follow that. So we will do that. We'll follow and see. First one is update is what is provided. So let's update first. So all this will take its own time depending upon the network speed and all. So it has completed. So we'll run the next command. So this is the next command. So that is also done. So you got to it's pretty easy, one after the other you have to do, and then you can have the Docker installation. So I'll just fast forward the installation so that you're just going to follow the sequence of steps which is has been put on the Docker site. So just follow that. So once you follow these steps, you should have the Docker installed. So to check it, Docker version or hyphen version. So yeah, the Docker is successfully installed. Another way of checking it is as usual for any programming language, you have the hello world program, and hello world is again, it's an image. So you can try running it. Run hello world or LD hello world. So this is the to verify the Docker. If you look at it in the command, running correctly by running the hello world image. So this is again an image. So we will run it. Unable to find because it is not there. So it is getting into the repository, and yeah, and then it builds. Pull is complete. If you look, downloaded the newer image. So this is a newer image, and you have the hello world. And this message shows that your installation appears to be correctly, installation appears to be working correctly. The Docker client, and again to generate, so if you read this, the Docker client contacted the Docker daemon, and Docker daemon pulled the hello world image from the Docker hub. So all these are provided. So you can visit this site, I mean whatever hub.docker.com, docker.com, get started. So all this, through this you can also learn. And one more thing is sudo docker ps. So if you look at it, this is the command. If there is a container with an image which is running in the kind of running status, you will have this listed over here. So here in this case image, we just it ran it only one time, so you will not have. So if you look at the history of it, then you would get that. So here, as I said, this is a container, and this where trying to correlate with our discussion. You will have a container. On that container is what is the image. You will have that image. So this is the container, and this container has been assigned, and this is the image. We pulled that hello world image, and it about a minute back we ran it. So it says about a minute back. So this is an already completed. A container was created, and then a program hello world, it displayed hello world and came out. So there is no container now which is in a running status, and that's where it status says exited out. So the point here is, we were discussing about the container, and container has that image as far as Docker is concerned. There are various programs. You can always explore it. If you have a virtual machine, so we saw how virtual machine created. On the virtual machine, you can have Dockers, and you can learn through the Docker various programs like Docker file, Docker compose is there, and Docker swarm is there. See, and again, container with an image, but with a multiple, if you want multiple nodes, then you go for Docker swarm. So that's about the Docker, but it is good to explore, good to learn. There are, I have a separate course wherein I have gone into the details of Docker file, Docker web-based, building a web-based application, and then the Docker Swarm application. That's a separate course on its own. So it's a longer duration course. You can opt, or you can do a necessary research through the web and learn on Dockers. Thank you. Let's progress further. So we will make a little bit complex with the Dockers. Let's assume, suppose you want to have an image of the Nginx web server to be called up from a browser. So Nginx is a web server. So and it has an image, and that can be, it can be in a Docker container, and it can be exposed to the browser, or it could be I mean, you execute the command, docker command, that is run command, and you have a container which is running with the Nginx image, and you can open that in the browser. So this is the command. I mean, this is the command sudo run. You have all the details. What does D mean? What does RM mean? IT mean? So you have the name, which is web Nginx, that is the web server, and the ports. It's important. The ports assignment is also important. So, and again, because you are assigning the ports, there needs to be a port entry in Microsoft Azure to make a pathway so that the Nginx web server is exposed, a kind of a tunnel, so that entry needs to be made so that you can go to the IP address, and naturally the Nginx web server will get displayed. So to have that, what you need to do is get into the Azure dashboard, into the particular virtual machine, and once you do that, so get to networks, and that is where you need to make an entry. So I have already made an entry. All you need to do is this entry, the third entry will not be there. So you need to make the entry for 3, 4, 5, 6 and 5, 7 is what we are going to use. So you need to make an entry there. So if I open up, so you can see that destination port is 3456 and 3457. The rest are any. So this port needs to be opened up, and then only you'll be able to access the Nginx web server. So and once you do that and save it, it's all set. Now you can run the command so that the Nginx web server is built and it is exposed. So Nginx, so let's run it. So it is pulling because it is not available locally. So it has to pull, and it has to create that image. Sudo docker ps. So you have the image up and running. So we'll get into the browser, and you need to have the IP address of that machine. So get into the virtual machine, and you need to have that IP. So this is the IP. I'm copying it. So once you give the IP address with the port 3457, you have the web browser. It says the Nginx web browser is successfully installed and working. So we have not done a kind of an installation. We have got the image of it from the hub, Docker hub, and that image is what we are using. Yeah, then you can configure the web browser. That's a different topic altogether, but this is just we have an image of Nginx up and running with the Docker. The point to note here is, if you compare with Kubernetes at a later stage, it's going to be a different process, and that is where because in Kubernetes you might have multiple nodes, and that's where it is totally different when you compare with Dockers. It is pretty much straightforward, just single command can do it, and again it is just as you see, it is just one image, one container. There is no process of scheduling, so it can work directly. But the applications, you might have multiple containers which are called pods, and pods make up to nodes, and you have multiple nodes, and you got to orchestrate, and that is where Kubernetes plays an important role. Thank you.